Right now, we are live on Cross Gates Drive and Terrapin Road North here in Brandon. We're going to set you the scene here, what we're seeing down the street here. You can see still a lot of police officers. There's crime scene tape, presumably around the area where this standoff and hostage situation went on for more than 8 hours overnight and into late morning. Now, it did not end without 2 police officers being shot. We just got a word from the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation that, in fact, a second officer was shot. We don't know the condition of that second officer who was wounded in the standoff situation, but based on reports we heard earlier from the Brandon police chief, the first officer who was injured was in good condition, was speaking with authorities as he was taken to the hospital. That bullet apparently went straight through that first officer who was injured. But again, we're waiting to get word on how the second officer is doing. I would say about an hour ago, when the situation took a different turn, it had stabilized for quite a while. About an hour ago, we heard shots being fired down the street in the neighborhood. And then moments later, we saw an ambulance being escorted from the neighborhood with police, presumably being taken to a local hospital. We don't know for certain, but that may have in fact been the second officer who was hit in this, again, very long standoff involving an individual who had taken a woman hostage. That hostage was freed earlier after police standoff went on again for hours and hours. And okay, we're just getting word now that the second officer passed away. The second officer wounded in this hostage standoff situation in Brandon this morning. That second officer has passed away. Very, very sad news. And we don't know which department that officer was with. We did see Capitol Police Chief Bo Luckey a short time ago hugging what we believe to be Brandon police officers. So again, we're not certain, but we are hearing right now very, very tragic news, very sad news that second officer wounded in this dramatic, I'm sorry? We're understanding, just getting word that officer who passed away, I believe is with the Madison Police Department. Of course, there was a massive police presence, officers from all over the metro here as part of this SWAT situation, trying to bring this situation to an end. And sadly and tragically, an officer has lost his life. Again, we're getting word that officer who was wounded passed away. That officer is with the Madison Police Department. Again, very, very unfortunate news. Of course, this is a situation that police officers understand every morning when they get up, they put on that badge, they suit up to go out and serve and protect. This, unfortunately, is the possibility that every officer lives with each and every day, that something so awful like this can happen. Again, getting word that a Madison police officer wounded in this hostage and standoff situation here in a neighborhood on Cross Gates Drive. That officer has in fact passed away. Now we're going to toss it over to Cecil Hannibal for more. What are you seeing, Cecil?
Yeah, like you just heard from Ross, we have just learned from MBI that a second officer has been shot during this hours-long police standoff. This was a hostage situation that we've been slowly seeing, police, different departments leaving this scene now. But again, we can tell you that a second officer has been shot in this hours-long standoff. We do not know the condition of that officer, but what I can tell you is that we saw an ambulance driving by, and there was a police escort with that ambulance. And I can tell you that, earlier this morning, we reported that a Brandon police officer was also shot during this standoff. We've been told by his police chief that he is in stable condition, and they said that when he was leaving in the ambulance that he was talking, so that is good news. But again, I want to reiterate that 2 police officers were shot during this hours-long standoff. And again, MBI has confirmed that with us. This started around 1:45 this morning, and Madeline Nolan has been out here all morning long. Madeline, what have you seen? What else can you tell us?
Yeah, it's been a very, very long morning, and to hear the news that both the suspect and the officer have passed away, it's just been a tragic, tragic morning. Really long. We've been here for probably around 4 hours, but I know that police officers have been here for definitely longer than us. This situation started around 2 a.m. when officers responded to what seemed to be a domestic disturbance. It then turned into a hostage situation. Now, Chief Dearman with the Brandon Police Department says that after talking to the suspect for more than an hour, police department's SWAT team was able to go in and rescue the hostage. But then they cut off power to the neighborhood. And then we were definitely talking to neighbors around here who heard shots fired. That's when we found out that first officer was wounded, but we did speak again to the police chief, who says that he is well and is able to talk and he is in stable condition. As for, again, the other officer who was shot after the standoff for a few more hours after that, he is down. He did pass away from the injuries as well as the suspect, and that's what we're working with right now. It is a very, very tragic, tragic morning. Of course, we're still working to get more information, you can see down there that they do have crime scene tape up around that house over there. But the community is no longer in harm's way. But again, it is just a very tragic, tragic morning. Multiple agencies have responded to this all morning long. We saw the Mississippi Highway Patrol. We saw Capitol Police, Madison. The police officer in the second who did pass away is a Madison police officer. That's as far as we know. We're still working to identify that police officer as well as the suspect. But we'll be sure to get all of this information to you. Again, a very tragic and long morning. I'm going to toss it back to Ross Adams out here. Ross?
And again, we are still waiting to get more information from authorities who are leading this investigation. Presumably, obviously, this will probably be the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. Certainly, given the fact that you've had an officer who passed away, an officer who lost his life during this standoff and hostage situation, which lasted for over 8 hours. The word that we've gotten from authorities is that a Madison police officer who was part of the SWAT situation, part of one of the SWAT teams on the scene from overnight into the late morning, that Madison police officer passing away after he was wounded. Now, that was the second officer who was shot, and we heard from neighbors earlier that there were, in fact, over 150 shots heard. It's amazing that you can count that many shots. That had to be quite a scene for people in this neighborhood trying to sleep, trying to wake up in this quiet neighborhood, to have a situation like that happening where so many shots were fired. And that first officer who was wounded, we're hearing from the Brandon police chief that officer is okay. The bullet actually went right through that officer, and that officer was speaking with authorities and police as he was being put into the ambulance, taken to the hospital to get treatment for his wounds. But unfortunately, a second officer, we understand, believed to be with the Madison Police Department, that officer shot and wounded, later passing away. We also understand, as you just heard from Madeline, that the suspect who held police at bay for so many hours, that suspect also died during the dramatic end to the situation. And about an hour ago, we knew the situation was taking a different turn, when we heard shots fired. There was a highway patrol helicopter above, and we saw officers racing across the street going toward the house which was the focus of this situation. And that's when we heard those shots fired. And a short time after that, we saw that ambulance with the siren on being escorted down Cross Gates Drive out of the neighborhood and presumably taken to a hospital. We believe that was that second officer, that Madison officer, who later tragically, unfortunately, passed away as a result of injuries in this situation. We did hear from a woman who said that she was the grandmother of the suspect, and that he was, according to her, he was mentally ill, and that she wanted to actually try to talk to him to resolve this situation. But again, with so many guns, so many weapons, the danger was so great, there was no way police were going to let that woman, who was an elderly, frail-looking woman, there was no way police were going to let her go into that situation. It was a situation where he was going to have to make the decision whether to surrender or make another decision. And it appears that he made a different decision, and he lost his life as a result of the standoff. And unfortunately, that Madison police officer also passed away. And it's going to be a sad day here for not only for the Madison Police Department, but for police across the metro. Again, this is what police fear more than anything. And obviously, the statistics show that a domestic situation involving a contentious relationship where two people are at odds or whatever that situation is, when police enter into a situation like that, it is a recipe for disaster, and it's very, very dangerous situation. And unfortunately, we have seen the result of that with a Madison police officer losing his life in the standoff, again, which went on for more than 8 hours, and the suspect who held police at bay for a very, very long time. His victim, who was held hostage, that person was freed hours ago, but the suspect apparently made the decision that he did not want to go quietly and peacefully surrender. And that suspect passed away. And unfortunately, again, a Madison police officer. So heavy hearts for the Madison Police Department and the folks in that community, and for the police community all across the metro, state, and indeed the nation. Another police officer has lost his life in the line of duty. That's the very latest from here in Brandon. We're going to send it back to you in the studio.